It's not a technical term. This is simple English.
Sir, house maintenance or like that.
Yeah, basically ensuring that the house is in order. Am I right? That things are in line, all of us are on the same page, stuff like that. So we will do some housekeeping initially in today's class. So the first announcement that I have to make is that we will have a guest lecture on Friday. It will be by Mr. Rohit Gupta, who has around 15 years of experience in designing standard cells, the stuff that we are going to design in this particular course and essentially our projects. And he works at ST Microelectronics. And he will talk about flip-flop design, basically give a quick introduction to flip-flops and metastability and how to, what is metastability and how to handle metastability in them. Okay. I will also be inviting your senior batch, the present MTech second year students, basically the students who did the course last year to this session, because this session would also help them. We did not have a session from them in the last year. So since this year we have an opportunity, it would be good to invite the previous batch also to this session. And what that necessitates is that we will have to have this session on Zoom. Okay, there is a constraint on Google Meets where we cannot really have more than 100 people on Google Meets, and if it's two batches combined, then we will definitely be more than 100 people. So we will have the next class on Zoom platform, and I will share the details on Classroom. Any questions about this?
No, sir.
Okay. So one thing which is yeah, it will be the regular lecture slot. No changes in that, and um, yeah. So I would suggest that if you're not able to capture anything that Rohit is saying, when he asks you to ask questions, don't hesitate to ask, because while he will be happy to answer any questions when he is here, I cannot ask him to arrange office hours separately. Okay, so it's important that you attend the class, and if you have any questions, you ask them right away. Okay. So coming to the
Sir,
yes.
sir, like in the last class, you talked about stack effects, sir. So in the 1001 like alignment, so there were many inputs, like many inputs. You told us that the NAN inputs all depends on the like inputs, different inputs, sir. So can you please explain that one was like the Vx value, sir? Like Vx1 was the difficult one to understand.
Yeah. Did you also check my office hours, Sahil?
Yes, sir.
So we discussed that in much detail in the office hours also, no? It did not come clear then?
सर मैं थोड़ा लेट
I'm sorry.
सर मैं थोड़ा लेट आया था उसमें इसलिए थोड़ा सा डाउट था हल्का सा
So the recording is also
सर मैं
shared.
आई केम लेट इन द ऑफिस आवर्स
Yeah, the recording is also shared.
अच्छा हाँ हाँ ओके सर
Yeah,
ओके
but anyways, I will quickly go through that also. Let me just complete the housekeeping part first. Is that okay?
यस सर यस सर
Okay. So then I want to understand from you. So I had a discussion with the TAs, and I realized that this being an online semester, things are not as simple and cannot really run the way they used to run in the earlier semesters. So at my end, I have already tried to reduce the course load a bit. Now you may be surprised how is that possible, but yes, that is what I have tried to do already. In the sense that just to give one example, we in the last year when we run the course, or in the year previous to that, we used to have only 2 students on a project. In this offering, I have suggested that we form teams of 3 students, and that means that the workload would get distributed amongst 3 people and not 2. So that is one step that I have already taken, where I have tried to spread out the workload amongst more people. I was also checking with the TAs if there is some component of the project that we can do away with. So why was I checking with them? Because they have done the project last year, and they are the best feedback mechanism for me. If I ask you, you will not know because you do not know what the project entails. These students, these TAs have done the course projects last year, so I thought that they could be a good feedback for us. Their view was that all the components of the project, whether it is sizing and schematic design, or whether it is layout design, or whether it is characterization, all the three components of the project are very important, are very relevant, and we cannot do away with either one of them. Now, what that means is that the project definition largely remains same. The only way I have reduced the load now is by having more people on the project team. So the other suggestion that was coming was that if we really want to reduce the course load a little further, it can be by reducing the number of quizzes. So as of now, we have committed to having around 13 quizzes, and of which we will take best 10. So that is another way we can reduce the number of quizzes. Basically, have a quiz almost every week, but not really 13 quizzes, possibly have 10 quizzes, and then use best 7 out of those 10. So I already see a response that don't reduce the number of quizzes. Yeah, I know quizzes are also very positive part of this course. They help you to keep up with the flow of the course. They help you revise and be on the on the helm of affairs. But now, as once the course projects will start, I will anyway have quizzes. See, even if I have to take 10 quizzes, there are still 4 more quizzes to go. So don't assume we will not have quizzes. We will have quizzes, but not every week. We will have, say, 2 quizzes every 3 weeks, something like that. So you will still be able to refresh and get your past topics brushed up every 10 days or so. What this may also mean is that we may not have, okay, that let's not enter into that, but we can have lesser number of quizzes, and that can probably help you with the course load. So I'm seeing both the kinds of responses.
Sir, we can do the poll. Those who, if the majority wins,
Yes.
because most of them have not scored well in the
yes,
previous
sir.
quizzes.
We
So
can do the poll.
Sir?
Yes, a poll would be very good. Like we can know the majority. So because sir, I haven't scored much in previous quizzes, so it would be very difficult if we have only 4 quizzes to go. So yeah, so that's my point of view. If we can have other people.
Sir, maybe you can just keep the quizzes and, instead of doing 10 out of 13, you can just take 9 out of 13 or something. If someone feels that the load is too much, they can skip that week's quiz. Anyway, it's a bonus quiz sort of.
Yeah,
Right?
yes, sir.
It helps to revise, right? I mean, otherwise there is really not much motivation to revise every week.
Exactly, sir. I agree.
So what you're suggesting is that have all the 13 quizzes. Instead of taking 10, you can take 9 out of those 13.
Yeah, something like that. If someone feels the load is too much, they can skip a quiz or 2. It doesn't matter because anyways they were getting that as a bonus quiz.
So also, like as someone else suggested earlier, it would be better if you actually do a poll. I guess there would be 50-50 split in people who actually would want 7 out of 10 or maybe 9 out of 13. So like.
So where do we do this poll? Because I don't
Sir,
think
Zoom,
Google Classroom allows
like
us to
previously
take
we
polls.
have done. No, sir, we can do
So
the poll on
Google
Google
Classroom.
Classroom as well.
Yes, sir. Google Classroom पे भी हो
Put
जाएगा.
up a question in Google Classroom, and then people would respond on it, either yes or.
Yes,
Google
sir.
Classroom does, yeah. Google Meet doesn't.
Sorry,
Does not?
Google Classroom, sir, Classroom. आप एक क्लासरूम पे पोल डाल सकते हो.
Okay. Okay, just give me a minute. Let me see. create. Where do we put a poll in the classroom? Mukesh, you have any idea if we can put a poll in the classroom?
Sir, I'm checking that only.
Yeah, because I'm not
Sir,
able
you
to see any
can,
option of creating a poll.
Sir, I
I'm
guess it
sorry?
comes under assignments. It comes under
Sir,
assignment or something. So
in
actually, other courses, I guess it comes out as an assignment question. So
in
maybe
classwork,
under
sir, create a question like where we
Okay,
create, yeah,
great.
and there you can check like multiple choice. So that
I
may
get that. So I'm already putting a poll on the classroom then, and you can respond there, okay? Okay, I will put the poll and let me not waste the class time for that. We will do that. Okay, we will do that question on classroom, and that can help us decide. So is it fair if we go with the class majority?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Okay, great. So a little bit of more housekeeping. For the course project, have all of you formed the teams, or all of you 3 people in your teams at least? So some projects had 4 people as expected on the teams, but for a majority of the projects we wanted 3 people. Are your teams already full? Any challenges you're facing there? Okay. So any clarification that you need on the specification, because in the last office hours there were some questions around such things. So any clarifications that you need there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We need.
Please ask.
Sir, about the load specification and what load we have to do the sizing part. And sir, we are having some basic doubts of the implementation issue also with the domino. For me, I don't know about others. That yeah, Kipper circuit you said now that we have to implement with the help of Kipper circuit. So I
Yeah.
just need a overview so that I can start working on my project.
Okay. So first of all, about the load conditions, because that's a common question. So when you had designed the first inverter, and I asked you to do this, characterize that inverter for different loads. It was a step forward and taking you closer to your project, in the sense that whenever standard cells are designed, why are they called standard cells? Because you do not redesign them again and again, and everyone uses the same cells. That is why they are called standard cells. Okay. So when the standard cells are designed, they are characterized for a wide range of loads. You can say that you can use the same load range as we had in the inverter design idea. Okay. So you can use the same load range as we had in the inverter design idea assignment, and that is it. There is no change in load specifications from that perspective for now. And you will need to characterize on the same set of capacitive loads. I think we gave you 5 capacitive loads. Am I right? We gave you 5 capacitive
sir.
loads in the assignment. Whatever, 5 or 7, whatever it is. So you need to characterize the delay for all the 7 capacitive loads. You also need to characterize the delay for different set of slope inputs. We also gave you slope inputs. Input slopes are changing. We gave you that. So the same specification that we had for the assignment, the same specification you have to characterize your design, whether it is an AOI, OAI, whatever it is, for that. Now, one specification that was not clearly defined in the inverted design problem was that I had not initially given you an input capacitance specification. So now I'm adding that the input capacitance has to be less than, let us say, 10 femtofarads. So whatever inputs we have, whether we have the clock input or whether we have inputs A, B, C, whatever inputs you have, some AOIs will have 5 inputs, 6 inputs. So none of the inputs should have a post layout capacitance exceeding 10 femtofarads. Is that clear? Output capacitance, we will use all the 7 to characterize. And input capacitance, no input should have capacitance more than 10 femtofarads. Is that okay?
So,
Yes, Swapnil?
so I will characterize it after like I have like decided my sizing and everything. I will check the वो पूरा script लिख के जैसे हमने किया था. I will characterize it for various C loads and input slopes. Now
So you will
suppose
not need to write the script all over again. The script would still work. You will just need to change the stimuli now.
exactly. The
Yeah.
thing is what I'm concerned about कि suppose I proceed with the logical effort methodology at the back at the end calculation जो होती है and I try to find out the जो मेरा C basically जो मेरे gate size होंगे. So उन gate sizes के लिए आपको capital H चाहिए होता है. That is CL by CN. So every time I do it for 7 C load की values, every time I have to size it 7 times.
So you're making only one cell. You're making only one cell, is it not?
Yeah. Okay.
So how can you have 7 different sizes on that same cell?
Sir, he is saying like H equal to C out upon CN होगा. अगर C out की वैल्यू अलग अलग होगी तो H अलग अलग आएगा तो साइजिंग अलग अलग हो जाएगी like that.
Yes, but I'm saying I'm asking you to design only one cell, not 7 cells. That one cell is driving 7 different loads. That's it. So which?
So how do I choose how do I choose the W min and L min of that single cell which I'm designing? What would be the methodology for that? I mean.
Yes. So what this means is that you have to choose. Suppose there are, as we mentioned, there are 7 capacitances. It could be 0 femtofarads or 0.1 femtofarads, then 5 femtofarads, 10 femtofarads, 20, 50, 100, something like that. I don't even remember what numbers I gave you. Okay. So you can say, okay, in this table, 50 or 40 femtofarads, whatever is the middle number, is what I will target. Okay, and you target for that load.
Okay, so I take the median value and उसका C load को देखकर I size the device.
Yes. So except, so which group has taken the address decoding for SRAM decoders, designing of SRAM decoders? Which groups have taken that?
Sir, we have taken that.
Yeah. So Rohit and I think there is one more group that has taken. So for your group, you already have a word line load given to you. Am I right?
So it's like, wait a second, 92512 was given to us. Like there's no, I don't remember.
The load of the output load is also given to you.
800 femto.
Yeah, 800 femto. Yeah.
So for you, the C load is constant. It is already defined.
Okay.
Okay. You don't need to enter into this range of कि मेरे को कितने load को drive करना है. For you, it is already clear. It is already there now. Okay. For others, so this input, you don't get confused by this input. Others need to take into consideration this input for them.
Okay.
Whether it is flip-flops or AOIs or OAIs. So I'm specifically pointing it out to your groups that you don't get confused. Now, this is for one aspect of it, that you will size based on what is the output load that you are driving. But in standard cells, there is one very, very important another aspect which you need to take care of. Do you know what is that? You already discussed that in the class.
The number of tracks or fingers.
Yes. So I've already mentioned to you that you have to use a 12-track library. You have to design a 12-track library. That's very clearly defined in the specification. Hello?
Yes, sir.
So what does a 12-track library mean? A 12-track library means that the total height of your standard cell is already fixed. Now, suppose you want to you want to put or you want to keep the sizing of one device as 0.7. When you will start to lay it out, you will realize that, oh, if I need to make it in 0.7, then I need to split it into 2 fingers. However, just as a random number, had I kept it at 0.6, okay, my delay may not be optimal, but I would be able to draw it in 1 finger only. Now, what does this mean? This means that if I use the sizing that I did from those back of the envelope calculations or to get the maximum performance or whatever, I'm giving up area in terms of an additional finger. So in such cases, when you size the standard cells, you would rather say that, okay, I will go with the sizing of 0.6 and not 0.7. So again, while we did logical effort is very important when you have multi-staged combinational logic or multi-stage chain for driving the load. For example, which is there in the case of the decoder project. When you are designing just one cell, you have to focus on area, power, and performance of that one cell. Logical effort doesn't play a big role when you're designing for just one cell. Okay, just the numbers that we just talked about. What was I saying? I was saying that the output is, you may say you're targeting it for 40 to 50 femtofarads, and the input load cannot be more than 10 femtofarads. This was what I told you. Am I right? So what is the stage ratio we are talking about over here? We're talking about a stage ratio of only 4 or 5. Do you need logical effort now? No. It's already one stage only. What are we talking about over here?
Okay, so we need not add additional inverter chains to our complex AOI or OAIs.
Tell me.
Okay, we would not have to, because we already have that range of 2 to 6.4 के बीच में आ गया.
Exactly. So when we are designing one cell only, we are not really bothered about logical effort.
Right.
Okay. So when you start sizing, so the first thing that you should do is, while I have written 12-track in that specification there, just give me a moment. Let me also add what is the height of your PMOS or the N-well. In addition to the 12-track cell height, let us say that 7 height of I have also now added that the height of, so this is just to make it easier for you, that the height of the N-well is equivalent to 7 tracks and the height of the P-well is equivalent to 5 tracks. Okay, so that will, so when you will just make a just go ahead and make a layout of one standard cell with the height of 12 track, put a metal rail on the top, put a metal rail on the bottom, call it VDD, call it ground, and then make the N-well which is encompassing 7 tracks of that, and then you try to put a PMOS in this region, make it DRC clean, let us say. So what will happen? You will have to see that you will at once get the maximum size of the PMOS or the NMOS that you are able to put in one finger. Am I right? So what I'm saying is, you define a 12-track height, and then you say that, okay, 7 tracks out of this are for the N-well. So you draw the N-well. Once you draw the N-well, you start to place the PMOS here and the NMOS here. You put the poly. Now you know that the poly has to leave a half DRC from here, half DRC from here. This is the rule that we follow with standard cells. All structures leave half DRC on the boundary. You remember that? Hello?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now you will be able to tell what is the maximum width that you can keep for the NMOS and what is the maximum width you can keep for the PMOS if you have to draw it in one finger. Are you with me? Any
Yes, sir.
questions here? Any questions here?
So could you repeat what you said last?
So what I said was that if you will place your PMOS and NMOS in such a standard cell which has the height of 12 tracks and 7 tracks for the PMOS and 5 tracks for the NMOS, you will get the size of one finger of either NMOS or PMOS. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
So now you know that when you increase the size of your devices, you keep them, there is a magnet, you may say, at every units of fingers. So if you were rather designing a device which was 0.65 and your finger size is 0.6, you say that your magnet will pull it to 0.6. If you were designing at 0.55 and you needed more performance, you may want to take it to 0.6 to get the performance, but beware, this may lead to more leakage, more power consumption. So for 0.55, you may still want to keep it at 0.55, but instead of going to 0.65, you may want to limit your size to 0.6. Okay. So for standard cells, when you design the standard cells, more than the size that comes from the load estimation and everything, what you really need to take care of, what you really need to design for is the size that you can put in one finger. Does that help? So this again will not be valid for the team that is working on address decoding. They have a playing field. They will do their total logical effort analysis. They're not making standard cells. So when we talk about memory row decoder is a full custom layout where there is no constraint on the standard cell thing. Okay. So that team is not worried, or that team need not keep the constraints of this is my finger size and that is my finger size. That team can actually simply go ahead and size the way they want, the way the logical effort thing requires them to. Other teams, you have to very carefully ascertain what is the finger size that you can keep. And in fact, it will be common for all of you. All of you are going to make 7-track library, 12-track library with 7-track for the NVIL. You can just check amongst each other groups that you're getting the same number. If you're not, just go check, validate what went wrong. Okay. Does that help?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, there is one more doubt regarding the row decoder. As in, it is mentioned that layout of either pre-decode or post-decode stage can be made for beyond results. So, as in, so this is like a +1 step, right? As in, so what layout are we required to give in the assignment only of that row decoder part? So what is the like? I don't understand exactly. So do we need to give only half of the layout of the entire circuit for the?
So let us look at it like this. When you will, when you need to do a decoding for the SRAM, you need to split your decoding into 2 parts. So let me erase this thing so that I can help you with your. So what happens is in an SRAM, you will make a pre-decoder here in the bottom of the SRAM. You will have some lines which will be driven by, so there is a logical effort that you need to calculate over here because this is a huge capacitance. Then you will have a final NAND gate of sorts, NAND or NOR gate of sorts, and then you will buffer it. And this is your word line load. Okay. So you will have to do logical effort in 2 stages. One is for the pre-decoder stage and one is for the final row decoder stage. the post decoder stage, and that is where you need to split. So I know that you have not yet studied this, the details, or we did discuss about the decoding when we were closing the logical effort section. But if you need more details, you can also check in both Veste and Ravi. Both have details about how to design the pre-decoder and post-decoder stages. It must be towards the fag end of the books where they talk about SRAMs. Okay, and then we can discuss in more detail in office hours, or we can have a special session separately for you guys if you have doubts after that.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So now we come to specific requirements for static and dynamic gates. So static gates, I think it's simple. You don't need any clarification on that. For dynamic gates, I did discuss and I did share that you will need to keep a keeper. So while we will cover this in the course in the next week or the week after, I believe that you already have the slides. So I know that you already have the slides. You can have a look at the slides of what a keeper means, how it is sized. And you can also look into the book. It has details about how a keeper is sized and what to do about it. But just to give you a very quick idea of why a keeper is necessary. See, in a dynamic gate, so if some of you have already seen, so this could be my, let us say, yeah, let's keep it simple enough. This could be my dynamic gate. Am I right? So this is clock, and this could be my inputs A, B, and C. And this is my output Y. Now consider a case that clock has come. So clock is 1 now. This PMOS is off. Let us say that A and B are both 0. A is 0, B is 0, C is 1. Clock is 1. So what happens? Now over here, since clock is 1, I actually have ground reflected at this node. Are you with me? So Sahil, this is kind of, I'm discussing this also because this talks about Vx that we discussed in the last lecture. Okay, so this so when this is 1, ground already comes here. Are you with me? Any questions?
Clear,
Hello?
sir.
Okay, so now since C is 1, C is also 1, this node is also equal to ground. Is that right?
Yes, sir, correct.
So now I have two devices, this, let us say N1 and N2, which are leaking because their gates are at 0, and they have a subthreshold current which will try to discharge this capacitor through this path and through this path. You will see that will happen. There are two paths through which my capacitor CL will start to discharge due to leakage, only leakage. Are you able to see these two paths?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So what happens is that after some time, now let's say the clock is high for 1 nanoseconds or 5 nanoseconds or 50 nanoseconds. It will largely depend on the duty cycle of the clock and the frequency at which you are operating. So let us say that the clock is high for a very long duration of time. Let us say 50 nanoseconds. Now this leakage is happening for 50 nanoseconds, which means that the CL, which was initially pre-charged to VDD, will slowly start to fall. And at the next stage, it may now be sensed as 0 also after some time. Let us say 50 nanoseconds or 100 nanoseconds. Due to this leakage, it may start to be sensed as 0 instead of 1. That can happen.
सर ये प्रीचार्ज तो तभी होता ना कि जब अपन क्लॉक 0 देते तभी प्रीचार्ज वो कैपेसिटर है ना.
जब आपने क्लॉक 0 दिया तो CL got charged. When you gave the clock 0, that was the pre-charge phase. The CL, the load got charged. So we will discuss this in much more detail when we discuss the dynamic circuits. But abhi just logically agar dekhein, when CK was 0, then this would get charged. Now we are saying in an active cycle, CK is 1. There's nothing to charge this. But there are leakage paths which would discharge this, due to which the output will no longer be held at 1. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So what is done is, we put an inverter at the output and we put a very small PMOS over here. This is very, very weak. Now, what is the role of this PMOS? So if this CL was charged to 1, now the output of the inverter is 0. So it will keep this PMOS on. And this PMOS will, through its on current, ensure that whatever charge was lost to the paths 1 and 2 over here is replenished. So CL retains its value at 1. So this is keeper.
Sir, can you please repeat this keeper part?
So first, have you understood that if I do not do anything, then CL will discharge?
Yes, sir, by subthreshold path.
Yeah. Now I have said that I will add this circuit additionally to my design. What does the circuit do according to you?
So it kind of storing.
So refreshing का purpose है ये basically, right? मतलब ऐसा कह सकते हैं कि ये refreshing के लिए use हो रहा है?
See, you simply say it maintains. It is keeping. The name is keeper. It is keeping. It is keeping the charge on CL. Maintaining the charge on CL. So when the CL was discharged, this keeper will be off. Will go off. Are you able to see this? If CL discharges, the output of the inverter will go to 1. The keeper will have no role to play.
Yes, sir.
So this is what the keeper is. Again, we will discuss this in detail, or we will touch upon this topic again. Then we will talk about dynamic logic. But with this introduction, you can read the book and you can start on your project. Is that okay?
So
yes, Swapnil.
I have already, मेरे पास 12T लाइब्रेरी है, तो मुझे ऑलरेडी पता है कि उसकी हाइट कितनी होगी, राइट? अब आपने बोला कि हमें वहां से WP और WN की मैक्सिमम विड्थ मिल जाएगी, जिससे हमारा 1 फिंगर में वो आ जाए, सर्किट जो हमारा होगा, OAI सपोज या AOI जो भी है. So now I think and how do we actually, and वो I guess WP WN सबकी सेम ही आएगी because
सारे सेम ही लाइब्रेरी बना रहे हैं, सारे 12 ट्रैक्स में बना रहे हैं.
Exactly. So and how do we ensure now that कि वो WP WN जो है हमारा एक्चुअली में वो लोड ड्राइव कर रहा है नहीं कर रहा?
So if it is not able to and you need to increase the size, go to 2 fingers. But you will take that decision only if you see that it is not able to drive the load, is it not?
Okay, so sir ये सब करने के लिए we have to move to the layout stage. Layout stage के बाद ही सारी चीजें देख पाएंगे हम लोग.
So you just do a quick width calculation from the layout. Okay. Then you go to your circuit schematic again. You know that this is the width I am available to me. है ना? You can make out this is the width that is available to you. Now you simply simulate and see if you are getting the desired performance or not.
So वो basically जो WP
and go ahead.
calculation है वो layout से हम लोग चेक कर लेंगे की के थ्रू, स्केल के थ्रू, and उस layout उस W को put करके schematic से we will verify using simulation whether it is actually driving or I have to.
Yes. And if you really need to increase the size, you know that अब तो size increase करना ही पड़ेगा. Then you do that. So I'm not stopping you from using 2 fingers. Realize this. What I'm telling you is that already keep this thing in mind so that you don't end up sizing just 50 nanometers above the finger size. so that you know that, okay, there is a very strong motivation to keep it one finger, and instead of going to 0.65, I maintain it at 0.6. Again, 0.6 is a number that I am giving you. I don't know what the final number you will get from the layout. You find that out. Okay.
Okay.
So I had one doubt in this domino part. So ये मतलब suppose अगर मुझे AB plus CD का whole bar implement करना है, तो my actual output is at Y only, right? मतलब C और CL के across, because अगर मैं ये keeper circuit का use कर रही हूँ and यहाँ पे inverter लगा रही हूँ, तो inverter के बाद तो I'll have only AB plus CD. So my actual output will be considered at Y, right?
It depends. If you keep that inverter as your final driver, if you keep that inverter as your final driver, then you just do the bubble pushing and change the logic that you need to design on the dynamic gate. That's it.
Okay.
Bubble pushing,
Yeah.
you know, na? Bubble pushing
Yes,
we've already
sir.
done. Yeah.
So, okay, I got it. Yeah.
So sir, in extension to that, actually we can implement the domino logic with like inverting logic, right? It's like I have read that in domino logic we have to put that inverter in front, right? So basically we are not able to implement the inverting logic, like AB bar we cannot implement. Basically, we are getting only AB or A plus B, like A or B, that stuff.
No, if you do NOR of A dot B and then invert it, you will get A dot B bar.
Oh, okay, yeah. So in pull down or pull up we are implementing, yeah, we have to implement. Sorry, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So one more thing I want to add for you guys is
Sir, your voice
that for
is
those who are
breaking.
working on the dynamic logic.
Sir, आपकी voice
Is it breaking?
Yes.
Okay, just give me a moment. Is it better now? Hello, is it better now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, it's better.
So let me turn off my video. That will reduce the bandwidth requirement from my side. Is it better now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yeah, possibly the video was also hogging some bandwidth, so this should work now. So another thing that we can talk about when we look at the domino cells is that you will notice that the domino cells do not have as many PMOSes. Have you noticed this? At least the teams who are working on the domino logic project. Have you noticed that the domino logic doesn't have as many PMOSes?
Yes,
yes, sir.
So what happens is you will end up wasting a lot of area if you keep a envel. Okay, let me go to red. If you keep a very large envel over here, all this area will go waste, and you will have only NMOSes over here, and your PMOSes, there are almost none. There is just one PMOS for the clock initially, and then one PMOS for the keeper. Nothing else is there. So this is not really desirable. So what is done is you anyways have to ensure that
You're not audible.
Your voice is
Sir, you are
breaking.
not
Not audible.
you have to ensure that
Hello, sir.
you
Sir, you are not audible.
Sir, your voice is breaking.
Is it better now?
No,
No.
sir. It is still.
Is it better now? It's still
Yes,
breaking?
sir.
No, it's fine.
Is it better now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hello? Is it better now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you are audible now.
Okay. So, okay. So you were able to listen that this area is getting wasted in a domino cell? You're able to appreciate that aspect?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes.
So what we do is, we ensure that we keep one device on one edge, we keep the other device on the other set of devices on the other edge. So over here you will have the output inverter and the keeper and all that. So let us say this is how your devices would look. This is your poly for this, poly for this, poly for this, let us say, okay? So what you do is you say that, okay, after this device, I will take the NVEL up. I will take the NVEL up and I will break the NVEL from here. So what happens? Now I have a much larger P-well with me. In this much larger P-well, instead of, for example, if I had to make this device in 2 fingers, instead of making it in 2 fingers, now I can make this device in 1 finger, like this. Like this. Are you able to see this?
Yes, sir.
So while for those who are
Yes,
working
sir.
on static logic, you will notice that your PMOSs are almost always bigger than the NMOSs. So you will not need to do anything like this. But those of you who are working on PTL or on domino logic, I notice not many of you have taken projects with PTL. But if someone is working on PTL or domino logic, then you will see that lots of NVEL area is getting wasted. Then you just ensure that you keep the 7-track height at the boundaries, and in between you can actually just limit it to half the DRC of NVEL width. Okay, so this is not half DRC of NVEL width. So आपका अगर आपका cell का boundary, if your cell boundary is somewhere here, then this would be half DRC of your NVEL width. The other half would come from the other standard cell. So there is a minimum DRC requirement for NVEL width. NVEL has to be drawn with at least this much width. So you maintain half DRC and then you can have a much larger device on this side. Is this clear? Any questions? Hello?
Sir, is there any hard and fast rule that the length of NVEL is to be 70 only?
I'm sorry? Length of?
NVEL is to be 70 only.
Who said 70? So I defined it in the project specification that this has to be maintained as 70. This is what I defined for all of you.
Okay.
Okay, because we are going for a 12-track library, I said 70. If you were going for a 7-track library, I could have said 4T and 3T. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Any other question?
सर इन डोमिनो लॉजिक में जो हम लोग एनीवेज हम लोग वो इन्वर्टर तो अटैच करते ही हैं, तो सर वो कीपर सर्किट के लिए बस एक पीमॉस अलग से हमें लगाना पड़ेगा ना, वो इन्वर्टर हम उसी का यूज कर सकते हैं?
Yes.
ओके.
Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
so can you, I mean, if there is time, can you talk about the multi-bit latch as well? Or, I mean, if there is no time, maybe we can discuss in office hours also. That's also fine.
Yeah. So the latches, the flip-flops, that is where I have arranged for the guest lecture in this week itself, so that those who are working on flops and latches are able to understand the design and complexity there. But I can very quickly tell you about latches and multi-bit latches. So typically, this is what you will call a latch. This is one latch. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
This will store 1 bit. So you can say this is my Q or this is my Q, or let us say Q bar. So this latch is storing 1 bit. Now I could actually have a flip-flop also, or this latch also needs to be accessed. So this latch, there is CK, CK bar, and there is this input. So this is your very basic latch. You may want to drive the output with a separate buffer also. So this could be your final Q. Okay, you may call this Q int. So आपने यहाँ you give an input from here. No, actually it will then become Q bar because the input gets inverted. So you will put 2 inverters. So whatever you input from here, it will get latched and also driven at the output. Are you able to see this?
Yes, sir.
So this is your basic latch. Now, if instead you want to say that, okay, I want to make a master slave flip-flop, you use a couple of latches, a pair of latches. And in between them, you have this another gate which blocks inputs. So if this is CK, CK bar, this would be CK bar and CK. And over here you have the second latch. And then you have output driven out of it. Are you with me? This is your flip-flop. So this flip-flop also stores only 1 bit. So if I store 1 over here, then in the negative phase of the clock, this 1 would get transmitted here, and I will start to have the output and so on. Am I right? So now what happens is that to generate this CK bar, so the system will only give you clock. You have to generate the CK bar also. So the CK, that is external CK, is buffered inside the latch or the flop, and you generate the signal CK bar, which is used at these tri-states. This is an overhead. So therefore, what is done is that instead of making a single bit latch, you make a multi-bit latch, so that this overhead comes only once. So instead of generating CK bar and CK int, so this is CK system, let us say, and let us say this is CK. So instead of generating CK and CK bar for every bit, if you have a 4-bit latch, you will generate CK and CK bar through these 2 inverters only once, and you will have 4 latches down there. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So a multi-bit latch therefore helps in reducing area, power, and also improving speed. The speed part is not as obvious, but it happens, the speed improves simply because the load on the clock reduces. Since the load on the clock reduces, the clock insertion delay can be reduced. Since the number of clock pins, so now CKS is going to be there only once for all the 4 bits instead of being tabbed 4 times. So what happens is the even signal congestion reduces. So overall, your system is able to do timing closure much more easily, and you have better timing performance also. Okay. Does this help, Setu?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It helps. So just one more thing, just a follow up to this. So as you said, like we need CK bar that adds to overhead. We can share this among multiple bits, but only in the case of flip flop we're going to need this, right? Because master slave are different level triggered. But in a normal latch case, we don't really need CK bar, right? We can either do with CK or just CK bar.
Yeah, you will see that the latches, the feedback part is typically also a tri-state. So you will need CK bar over here also.
Yeah, acha, then yeah, acha, so if it's not tri-state, then it's fine, and I don't need.
Even then, at the input you had a tri-state, no?
So see, what I was saying is that at input, do I really need both the logic levels? I mean, can't I just take one and internally have some?
Okay.
I mean,
So there are these true single phase flops and things that we will talk about. They are defined and explained in detail in both Rabi and Veste. If you want to design that, that would be very nice.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So the true single phase flops or true single phase latches, if there are, they also are better in terms of power. Okay, because there is only one clock that needs to be routed now. There are not two clocks. Okay. So it seems as if our entire class is going to end in the housekeeping part itself, but it's not just housekeeping part. We're also discussing the project, which I know is very important for all of you. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So,
सर एक डाउट और था सर, कैन आई आस्क?
या प्लीज।
सर हमें मतलब डिले जो मतलब कैलकुलेट करने को बोला है वो वेरियस इनपुट्स टू आउटपुट्स बोला है सर। प्रीवियसली जब हमने डिले कैलकुलेट किया था तो सिर्फ एक ही इनपुट था क्योंकि हमने इन्वर्टर
क्योंकि तब आपका एक ही इनपुट था।
यस सर। सर तो अभी
नाउ वी हैव मल्टीपल इनपुट्स।
हाँ तो सर मल्टीपल इनपुट्स होंगे तो हमको अगर सिंगल इनपुट के लिए निकालना है तो सर हम उसको ही 1 रखेंगे, बाकी सबको 0 रखकर ऐसे हमको कैलकुलेट करना पड़ेगा। मतलब तो सर वो तो सर्किट चलेगा ही नहीं तब तो।
आपको सर्किट चलाना है तो आपको इंटेलिजेंटली बाकी इनपुट्स देने होंगे।
ओके ओके
है ना?
ओके।
क्योंकि सर्किट नहीं चलेगा तो आप मेजर कैसे करोगे? सर्किट तो आपको चलाना पड़ेगा ना।
यस सर। सर तो यही समझ नहीं आ रहा
था इंटेलिजेंटली।
ओके सर।
सर ऑन फॉलो अप टू द प्रीवियस क्वेश्चन, अगर सर मान लीजिए नैंड गेट का एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं, तो नैंड गेट के केस में सर एक भी इनपुट 0 0 पे भी बना रहा है, 0 1 पे भी बनाएगा। तो इस केस में सर अगर मैं ये जो पहले ट्रुथ टेबल के जो पहले 3 केसेस हैं उन केसेस में मेरा आउटपुट 1 आ रहा है, तो इस केस में सर मैं किसी एक इनपुट को 1 लेके और एक इनपुट को 0 लेके अगर मैं इनपुट टू आउटपुट ट्रांजिशन देख रहा हूँ मेरा प्रोपोगेशन डिले का, तो हर 3 केस में सर डिले अलग अलग आ सकता है ना सर?
यस, दैट इज व्हाट यू हैव टू
कोड। तो फिर हम कौन सा लेंगे सर जो वर्स्ट?
आपको सारे कोड करने होंगे।
ओके।
So in a standard cell library, all the delays are quoted because you do not know which user will connect which input where. So you have to tell the user all the delays.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
So.
Yes.
So in a way, can I suppose like I have a symmetric kind of a gate, complex gate, suppose 3 3 2 2 है suppose. So उस केस में can I like in a way fix मेरे ABCD जो मेरे 4 इनपुट्स होंगे 6 इनपुट्स होंगे अपनी उनकी लोकेशन फिक्स कर दी मैंने PMOS और NMOS में, एंड वहां से मैंने फिर हर एक के कॉम्बिनेशन पे देख के निकाल लिया कि कहां से मेरा TPDR लोएस्ट आ रहा है, कहां मेरा कंटामिनेशन डिले है।
आपको लोएस्ट नहीं स्वप्निल, you have to quote all the 4 delays. You have to quote delays from A to output, B to output, C to output, D to output, all 4.
Okay, with the combination of ABCD such that the circuit works.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And you have to separately quote for the rising delay and the falling delay.
Well, suppose okay.
Okay. So you have to design your stimuli intelligently. See, that was where you realize that when we are discussing the project today, we talked about sizing, we talked about layout, and we talked about characterization. And all 3 are very important aspects that we want you to learn in this project. When I said that 3 people are there on a project, ideally one of you should take a lead on one of the topics and teach that or explain that to the other two people there. Okay, that is where I believe this will reduce the workload for all of you. Otherwise, you will struggle. That was the reason why I said 3 people for most of the projects. Okay. Any more questions?
On 11th, what is to be expected in the presentation from our side?
So you have to kind of, I expect you to have done the first, at least paper design of your circuit, that whether it is AOI or dynamic, or so you just show the paper design or the schematic if you have put it in Virtuoso also. If you've done some simulations, show those simulation results also. But more importantly, you know, जो भी हमने discuss करा कि how will you characterize that the circuit is functioning? How will you ensure that which is the, you know, how will you characterize your multiple delays? What will be the other inputs that, what will be the value of the other inputs that you will keep to be able to characterize A to output delay and B to output delay and C to output delay and all those things. You may also want to tell that, okay, we've also done. So basically you present as much as you can, as much progress you can do, but at a bare minimum, I expect you to show me the schematic. Tell me about the characterization constraints in terms of how will you characterize, what kind of stimuli will you give. This is the bare minimum I'm expecting from you on 11th.
Schematic as in, sir, from Virtuoso?
No, paper schematic is fine. But okay. If you, I do not want you to put scans of paper schematic. If you do not want to design in Virtuoso, then you can design. Then you can make the schematic in either PPT or Xcircuit. Xcircuit is a tool that you can download freely, and you can. It has all the symbols of MOSFETs and everything. So that is also fine for me.
Okay, so you don't want a paper ka scan wala?
Yeah, paper ka scan is not a good idea. So okay. You may want to, but if nothing else, if you really are not able to do it, then paper scan is also fine, but it's not a good thing to present in a presentation, okay? It is not professional. Is that fine?
Okay, sir.
So you do not even, show snapshots of your schematic in the presentation. So it's best if you do it in Xcircuit, but even if you show the snapshot of the schematic, that is fine for me now, for now at least.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Anything else? So you already see that the presentation is on next Wednesday, and it will be from 2:30 p.m. onwards. I believe we can continue from 2:30 till 5, and then if we have whatever we decide on the quiz part, if we have a quiz that day, we will have a quiz. If we don't have a quiz that day, like if you guys say that we want less number of quizzes, then we will not have a quiz that day, so that we can continue till whatever time. Okay.
So the poll is created, so we can have a look if you want.
You've created the poll, but it must not be public yet, no? Or is it public also?
No, sir. It's not public yet.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, you can publish it. Just give me a moment. So मैंने कुछ एडिट करा है इसको.
Yes, sir. Visible है.
आप एक बार इसको पब्लिश कर सकते हो फिर. So the quiz question is already being published, so you can fill that, and we will see the result soon enough. Okay. So I will announce on Classroom itself what we'll keep. whether we have a quiz tomorrow or not. Okay. So should we go forward now?
Sir, one more thing. If I suppose use X circuit, that is okay, right? X circuit, you say?
Yeah.
Okay, and I need to characterize the inputs from output cut delay and the schematic for the first presentation as of now.
Yeah.
All right, sure. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So when you make the schematics for PPTs or when you want to make waveforms on PPTs, you can use X circuits for making the schematics. It's a standard tool that people also use when they write papers. And Wavedrom for making waveforms. That again is a standard tool that people use to make stimuli and describe stimuli in papers also. Okay, so you can just download these two tools and you can start to use them. Okay. So any additional feedback so I have already received the feedback from all of you on the online medium of instruction that you must have filled on Opine. So any additional feedback? So those of you who did not respond there, if you want to give me some feedback here.
Sir, like in the office hours, like sometimes what happens is you're waiting in the office hours and you just never get the time during that 1 hour because questions are coming and coming. So like, can there be some concrete slots, as in everyone can attend the office hours, but for asking the questions, so can there be calendar invites which can be like filled so that if I know like today is an office hours, I can guarantee that my doubt will be cleared, because often you have to wait for 1 hour and then there are questions continuously and there is a little scope to ask the doubts.
So those questions are also doubts, just that they're not yours, they are someone else's doubts, Rohit, is it not?
Yeah. But to clear my doubts, so
yeah. So essentially what you are requesting is, can we have more office hours?
More, or as in like some concrete office hours, as in there is some slots in the office hours which you can pre-fill, as in if you have a doubt. So,
okay, so you want us to organize the office hours such that people take the slots, like 5-minute slots, and 12 questions can come in there. Am I right?
Yeah, like
Something
5 or 10 minute slot, but like everyone can attend so that everyone can hear the questions. But like there will be a sheet as in which person can ask the question in this slot or not. So that
you think it will make it better?
Like I think it has its own problems, but in a way that it will make sure that if I have a doubt, then I can be sure that it will be answered in this office hour only.
So Rohit, if you ask a question, like if you simply tell me that I have a question and I want my question to be answered, I've been waiting for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or I just have a question and I'm here only for that question. So if you say, I will anyways answer your question, or the TAs will anyways answer your questions.
Sure, sir. It was just a suggestion. Yeah.
Yeah, because see, you have to be assertive. If you have a question, you have to be assertive and ask a question. Don't wait for us to. So there's office hours. There are 4 hours of office hours every week. So these 4 hours are available to all of you to ask questions. If you want more, we can have more. That is not a challenge. But to further, make them into 5-minute slots or 10-minute slots, that will increase the logistics much more and make things much more complex.
Sure, sir. I get it.
So let's not enter into that micromanagement stuff. See, one thing is management. If you want more office hours, that is one thing. But micromanaging is not a good idea. Never. Even when you will join jobs, wherever you join jobs, you will see that if your manager or if your leader micromanages stuff, it will make everyone's life hell. Okay, so it's best that we take the ownership of our question and we ask the doubt there. We simply say, I also have a question. So then I will say, okay, Rohit, or the TA will say, okay, Rohit, let me just first take this one and then I will take yours. So you must have, if you attended my office hours, you must have noticed that if there is a conflict, 2 or 3 people start to speak at once, I at once say that, okay, I will first answer this, then this, then this. Is that okay? So I always do that. So you don't need to wait for everyone to go silent. That may never happen.
Sure, sir.
You just say, I have a question. I want to ask something. And if someone is already asking, or by chance it's in conflict, 2 people have asked a question at the same time, the TA will say, or I will say that, okay, so Rohit, I will take up your question first. Setu, you wait. Or say to, I will take your question first, Rohit, you wait. Whatever, doesn't matter. And we will do it like that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, Swapna?
so we will have one assignment more coming up, I guess.
Yeah, one assignment is left, yes.
Okay.
Don't worry, it will not be a burdensome one. It's a simple assignment. It's a very simple assignment, in fact. It will not
Excuse me,
take more
sir.
than it will not take more than 10 minutes to do that assignment, hopefully, or not more than 20 minutes to do that assignment. Yes,
Maybe
Kaustubh.
proposing the question for Ensign.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Kaustubh.
Yes, sir. Actually, one issue that some of us have tutorial like TA duty on Wednesday, 2:30
Okay.
p.m. Yeah.
Okay.
So will it be like afterwards we will give the presentation when we are free, right? After 4 o'clock.
Yeah. So the TAs will release a schedule of 15-minute slots for each of the teams. I think 15 minutes or 10 minutes, they will see how many slots we can create. And you can choose a slot which suits your group so that it doesn't clashes with the TA duty.
Oh, okay. So it is not group wise or something like that, right? So we
It
can
is
choose.
group wise. It is group wise.
No, like group number wise, I'm saying. Yeah.
No. It's not
Okay.
group number wise.
Okay.
It cannot be. It's exactly because of this reason it cannot be.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So, can I ask one quick thing?
Yes, Swapna.
So actually, we did the earlier part based on some tutorials. We were provide some tutorials for the tool, right? Now we'll be working more or less towards the standard cell thing, which is like quite new for everyone, which we haven't worked on in an assignment previously or something like that. So what do you suggest would be the best medium to in a way practice that? Maybe some online tutorial could be provided by a TA, maybe a YouTube video का कोई link जो specifically पे focus करता हो. Because I was actually looking जो काफी मतलब different लोगों ने किया है. इन कुछ लोगों ने स्पेसिफिकली वर्चुअल से नहीं किया, किसी और टूल से किया है. सो अगर उसका कोई आप रिसोर्स दे सकते हैं दैट वुड बी ग्रेट. मे बी इफ देयर इज अ लिंक इफ पॉसिबल. कुछ है?
I don't know if there is a link for that. The TAs might be aware. I don't know. What I can do is I can give you the layout guidelines for the standard cells. They can be so there are 7 or 8 guidelines which you can use so that you can then design your cells better.
Okay, so that would be also good. Fine.
Okay, so I can post those guidelines on Classroom itself.
Okay.
Okay. Any other feedback for the online medium?
Sir, and what about the DRC manual?
DRC manual is unfortunately still not resolved. So you have to now the positive or the silver lining in this is that you do not have too many layers to handle. You're just handling up till metal 1. So I know this is also not simple, but since you're handling only up to metal 1, there are not too many DRCs that you need to remember or work on. But you make this, you will have to kind of identify the DRCs and make a trial and error thing from the DRC thing, from the DRC reports. I'm sorry, I'm not able to get the DRC manual working all over again. And the password is not simply opening. I will see if I can arrange something else, but I'm not sure about that yet. We've been trying, but it's been more than 2 months now, not working. Anything else? So there's not much time to do anything in the new thing, except so let me just do a quick refresh. In the last class, we had looked at different components of static power: subthreshold leakage, gate leakage, junction leakage, and we looked at stuff like drain-induced barrier lowering. We had quickly talked about gate-induced drain leakage, but we had talked about high-K dielectrics even earlier and in the last class, where we said that when you use high-K dielectrics, you effectively increase the physical thickness of the gate dielectric while maintaining the SiO2 equivalent thickness same, and therefore the gate leakage reduces. And then we also looked at some methods to reduce leakage, which was the first one was evidently using high VT transistors, then lowering the voltage of operation. Then we looked at the stack effect, the body effect. We also looked at large lengths as a means to reduce leakage. Also, small devices means junction leakage can reduce. And sleep transistors we had fleetingly or very quickly talked about towards the fag end. So sleep transistors are, suppose this is my entire logic. So there are, let us say, AND gates, and this is the entire chain of there are XOR gates, everything. This is a complete logic that I have. So a sleep transistor is put, let's say, on VDD. When sleep goes 1, this PMOS will go off. When the PMOS goes off, the supply from the entire logic region is taken away. So it reduces the leakage. So sleep transistors are very commonly used in advanced technologies or in large SoCs because as we discussed in the last class also, there may be 4 CPUs, 4 processors on a die. Your cell phone typically has 8 processors, 8 CPUs on it, 8 ARM cores on it. Not all 8 are required simultaneously. If your cell phone is just lying there silent, or you're just listening to some music on it, only 1 ARM core may be required. So the other 7 are to be switched off. Now, how do you switch them off? You switch them off by simply turning off the sleep transistor. Once the sleep transistor goes off, the supply to the entire core, entire logic is disconnected, and therefore leakage reduces. Okay?
So,
yes, Swapnil?
So this is somewhat similar to what we saw in clock gating, right? We were
Yeah. So that was when I talked about sleep, I talked that it is very similar to clock gating. I'm just explaining it again because it is called sleep and it's not called clock gating. Clock gating is only for clocks. Sleep is for entire core regions, entire logic regions.
So this happens dynamically, right?
This happens on the fly depending on what the software tells you. If the software says I need only 1 core, the operating system tells you I need only 1 core, you switch off the other 7.
Okay, so we have the instructions coming from the software, right?
Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. So the next part that we will start in much more detail on next Tuesday, because on the coming Friday we will talk about flip-flops and metastability, will be combinational logic. So there are 2 types of logic: combinational, where we say that the output is dependent only on the present set of inputs. Okay. And then sequential logic, where we say that the output is dependent not just on the present set of inputs, but also the previous input. Okay. So this is the key difference between combinational logic and sequential logic. Sequential logic means flops and latches. Combinational logic means all the AOIs, OAIs that you are working on in your projects. Memory is also sequential logic. Okay. And in terms of, so this again, I'm just going through this because you're already aware of this. I don't want to do this introduction in the next class. So in combinational logic, there are 2 very common types of logics: static CMOS and dynamic. Static CMOS, you already know, the NMOS and the PMOS are dual of each other. And the dynamic logic requires you to store your output on a temporary storage, the CL thing that we just saw. And therefore the capacitance, the value of this capacitance also is of importance. So in the subsequent classes, we will look at both static logic and dynamic logic in much more detail. We'll also look at other design styles like pass transistor logic, pseudo NMOS, and so on. But those we will cover much faster. Static and dynamic, we will spend more time on them. Okay. So we will close the class here today. Yes, Swapnil?
Sir, can I ask a question on this slide?
Yes, please.
So I guess you would discuss it further maybe later, but just quickly to clear my doubt. Like dynamic logic, as you said, would have an extra CL maybe to store the value of the previous state.
So CL is always there. Dynamic
Yeah.
logic, you may say that dynamic logic is evaluated when the clock comes.
Right.
Dynamic logic will have a clock in it, and it is evaluated when the clock comes. And once evaluated, you cannot really do much about the dynamic logic. Static logic, even if the clock comes or goes, you can evaluate as many times in any cycle.
So CL will have to, so basically CL will only get changed to the next value only when the clock again comes. So it's basically like sequence.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So dynamic logic will always have a clock in it.
Yeah. Okay. So, so what is the advantage we are gaining over static in the dynamic case?
Okay, we will see that. So in the dynamic, as we saw, there are no PMOSes or just very few PMOSes. PMOSes, anyways, you want to size them big, so they take more area.
Right.
So dynamic logic will be much smaller and denser. That is, can be much denser.
But you might be compensating on the delay in the output. Yes. Maybe.
No, actually, the delay also reduces because the load of the input reduces significantly. The inputs no longer need to go to the PMOS. The G, the logical effort of a dynamic gate is much lesser than that of a static gate.
Okay, so I was thinking on the basis of the clock basically. So जब clock आएगी तभी आपका output evaluate होगा. Starting में तो आपका continuously output आ रहा है. So maybe that is what I was thinking कि वहाँ से delay का कुछ.
No. So delay is always when you start the evaluation to when you get the output. Delay is measured like that. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so we'll close the class here. All the best. Okay, we will have the guest session in the next class. We will talk, which will be on Zoom. I will post the details on Zoom later.
Sir, by the way, do we have a quiz tomorrow?
So I'm waiting for your response on Classroom, and then I will announce. We can have.
Sir.
Yes, Akshat.
सर लाइक अगर हम लोग 13 क्विजेस के लिए एग्री करते हैं तो सर जैसा एकेडमिक कैलेंडर के हिसाब से सर अगले मंथ के स्टार्टिंग में एग्जाम है एंड सेम एग्जाम मतलब लाइक फ्रॉम 10 तो सर अभी हमारे पास 6 क्विजेस और होंगी तो फिर क्या हर वीक में एक क्विज होगी सर मतलब या फिर किस तरह से रहेगा लाइक
ऐसा ही होगा
ओके
ऐसा ही हो जाएगा ना
नहीं लेकिन सर जैसे इस वीक का भी अभी मतलब ओके सर
okay so that is what I'm saying if most probably we'll have a quiz tomorrow because even if you tell me that we go for 10 quizzes we have to take 4 quizzes next week because you have your presentations. I would want to skip the quiz next week. I want you to focus on the presentation then. Am I right? So let us say we'll have a quiz tomorrow. We can safely assume this. Okay.
Sir.
Yes.
So in the schematic of the project, like, do we have to like write the correct dimensions, or like for now just we can draw a circuit for the functionality part of it, and later on we can change the width values of PMOS and NMOSes?
So yeah, your final presentation will have the final values. As of now, you just show me the architecture. That is fine.
Okay, sir.
If you can do the sizing by then, that is absolutely great. But if not, if you can have first sizing, that is also fine. Again, that is not the final sizing. I'm not evaluating you on that at all. The first presentation is just to see that you started your work.
Okay, sir.
As in the basic view and the PDN network can be shown with the.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
And so one more thing, if we are operating below temperature inversion voltage, and then we are also, and below temperature inversion voltage, we are decreasing our VDD. Means like so then our leakage current will increase or decrease?
Decrease. Decrease in comparison to when you are operating at a higher voltage.
So like it's because of that temperature inversion voltage, right? Because like
no, just because of lowering the voltage, your leakage would reduce.
So it is not dependent on what voltage are we operating on?
Leakage is dependent largely on temperature and VDD. So if the temperature is 125, whether you are at 0.8 At 0.8, 125, the leakage will be much more than at 0.8 minus 40.
Okay, sir. Yeah, because temperature is more. Okay, sir. And if we are
Okay.
like, and if we have minus 40, and if we are comparing at 0.8 and 0.7.
Yeah, then so minus 40.8 will have more leakage than minus 40.7.
Okay. So, but sir, I was getting the like values different in assignment 2. Like we have to characterize and.
So you need to increase the accuracy of your simulator then.
So I used the accuracy option. I kept that 1E minus 9 EPS option.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
So
then
just open the waveform. At times what happens is that when you open the waveform, you're able to see some random toggling or something there. You're assuming it to be leakage, but there is some movement happening there. So you remove that movement of signals.
But that cannot happen like over all the sea load and slope values, right? Because like I just compared all those values and they all were increasing. So,
For 0.7, they were more than 0.8.
yes, sir.
No, there must be something wrong in the setup then. It doesn't happen like that.
Okay, so then I will check with the TS like what happened. Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So, okay then.
So I have a small thing which I need to discuss with you.
Sir, what about PVT condition for the project?
PVT conditions, you may say the same PVT conditions we had for the inverter assignment.
Our assignment number 1, right?
Assignment number 2, where we characterized.
Okay, means for every PVT condition.
Yeah, you have to give the delays. Okay. Yes, Swapna.
So I have a separate concern which I would like maybe to have a personal chat with you regarding that. So maybe you can decide a separate time slot for that.
We can just wait for other students to leave. You can just stay on. Is it okay for you to stay on, or you have a class?
Sir, actually I had a class at 12, so that's
Okay, so we can talk later.
Yeah, sure. I'll
Yeah, you ping
schedule
me.
a meeting with you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
all the
sir.
best. Yeah, bye.
सर 2 मिनट बात करनी थी आपसे.
Let me stop the recording.